thing. You're on live, Rip. Can you see that stuff right there?
Can I see it?
It's right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Frankie Picklebarrel ass is on here. Said, hello, Ripper and Chopper.
Ask if they can hear you.
Hey, can anybody hear me on this thing? Maybe somebody will put some.
If they can hear you at all.
Is this thing on? Nobody said nothing, so.
Well, it takes a while. Remember, you're on delay.
Oh, delay. How long?
5 seconds.
5 second delay. Oh, John Tucker said, yep. Okay. So we know one thing is I got volume. I got my Donald Trump hair on right here. So if it gets wet, it'll look like I got 8. I got my 1980 something Ox Baker t-shirt. It said Ox Baker Manager. So anyway, I got my Ox Baker Manager shirt on. Pulled that out of the clothes that I threw away 20 years ago and got Ox Baker shirt on. You know, the guns are semi, you know, when you're 70 years old, what the hell? Let's see who else on here looking at us. Let me see. Gregory Mela. Hey guys, good morning. Good old John Tucker already smashed it for you, Rip. Now, smash what? Now, if you smashed, does that mean you hit your old lady or hit your boyfriend or whatever the hell that means? Bobby Lopez in the house. He's saying, hello, everyone. The real J.E. Happy Friday. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Well, you don't really do that. You're just trying to get over, trying to put yourself over, acting like you are over. But what the fuck? Let's just walk around like a wrestler, lats out like Triple H does, have our fucking feet at fucking at 3 and 9. Is it 3 and 9? Yeah, 3 and 9 or whatever. Come shuffle along and just act like we're over and take a breath every once in a while because we're holding our breath. Let's see here. Oh, Django Fat's in. That's the most important thing of my day today is walking in. I know that Django Fat is right here on Wrestling with Rip Rogers. And I can't ever shut him up. He's just a talkaholic. He's probably got so many questions to ask, but we're going to have to just see who else is here first. Let me see. Yeah, Italian says, yes, I can hear you. Well, that's always a plus because I'd hate to go through and have to do sign languages. And the only sign language I know is peace and fuck you. But we're past 30 seconds, so we can say that. Let's see. Loud and clear. Gut 1980 says, yeah. Oh, fucking Jeff Shutters. Goddamn Jeff Shutters from Seymour, Indiana. Who's his brother Charlie, his older brother Charlie's one of the best. I think he used to have the scoring record at St. Ambrose in Seymour, and his mom would she'd work the box office at St. Ambrose games, and his dad, when I was lucky enough to get in there, he wouldn't yell at me too much because I was a fat little kid and I wasn't with the shit. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Italian saying that is a great Ox Baker shirt. Well, shit, I can take it off right here if you want to send me about 100 buckaroos. Let me give it the sniff test. I got a little, Lila left me a little generic Big K Dr. Pepper, so it's not the real shit, but you know. How about a Terry Funk Daddy? Why did you shoot my jackass t-shirt? I don't know why Terry said that. Let's see, Buckshot Kid's in the house. He said, hello, Rip. So we got all the top stars that's listed because if the thing's going to roll some more, I guess it will, but I don't know shit all about technology. I'm not Mr. Technology, so I really don't know what the hell's going on. Lilas is incapacitated at the moment. I was incapacitated earlier. I had to take a shit for about 20 minutes. Let's see, Michael Costello's in the house. That's good that Mike's here. He said, hi, Rip. I could say hi, Mike. I don't know if anybody's got any dirt on anybody. I heard a lot of stories about Michael Costello, but I wouldn't want to repeat them on here because, hey, let's just say he would go up in stock. So if there was some young boys or mature males, they would start liking Mike a little bit more. But every hot girl, at least 18 and up, they would be going crazy for Mike too. And I know he's got a lot of shit on his mind, so he don't want to get into that. Opinion haver, the vet, Jamie, the one's the only, the army of one. Zeus ain't here. It was the army of two, just the army of one. So he's here. He's here slumming today, seeing what's happening on the. Since he's a West Coaster, we're on the East Coast doing nothing. So anyway, Italian says, "Did you ever wrestle Terry Funk? What do you think of my eye match with Funk and Lawler?" That's one of my favorite. Well, that's my favorite match of all time. But see, it's my eye. Then I asked him about that one night. Well, he was in me and Regal's Caravan in 1992 in Hanover, Germany. So I got Terry Funk telling Terry Funk stories. Just the nicest fucker you could ever goddamn meet. I kept waiting for him to turn heel on us. But he never did. But I never did get to wrestle Terry Funk. I'd probably have been so fucking nervous I wouldn't have been worth a shit. But yeah, he was in the Caravan all night telling stories, drinking beer, talking about the old Amarillo stories, telling about his stories about his dad, telling stories about his brother, telling some of his shenanigans, which we don't want to get into because they are sort of rated X, well, double X, triple X, whatever. But to have Terry Funk, well, that's like Jimmy Snuka come in one night and was in our Caravan. So he was telling fucking stories. So it was always me and Regal and usually Max Payne just sitting there listening, going, holy shit. We're in the fucking Caravan with the great Jimmy Snuka. He's telling us fucking stories. We're learning how to say brudda every other word. And then Terry Funk, the great Terry Funk, the one who I consider, him and Buddy Rogers, I consider the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. Just sitting there, listen to some funkerisms, listen to some funker stories. And he didn't even tell anything that was too risque because everything I had would be rated triple X. And he was nice enough and classy enough. He didn't know I was a total degenerate, that he was just telling us cool stuff where we was sitting there, wrestlers, acting like we were little fucking kids. I'm staring at him, Max Payne staring at him, Regal staring at him, soaking in all the knowledge. Terry's cutting a joke. He's laughing. We don't know if we're supposed to laugh, if we understand it or not. But just being Terry Funk. Jimmy Snuka was doing the exact same thing, telling about stuff. The time he was working in how I started out. He was in Portland. The great Jimmy Snuka was in Portland working for Don Owen. That's where I worked too. Roddy Piper was there. Rick Martel was there. The Bushwhackers were there. The great Playboy Buddy Rose. But he was there for 9 straight years. And he really said he really didn't think he was good enough to go on the road. Jesus Christ, he went into Charlotte, became the instant superstar that he was. Jimmy Snuka, the superstar splash. Wow, it don't get any better than that. Terry Funk just sitting there telling funkerisms, telling funker stories, telling jokes that you could funk your pants. I mean, funk your, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's some of the stuff we was just talking about. Let me see who else is on here. Frankie. Frank the pickle barrel ass is on here. And he's got a good old question today. He's saying, what was your worst injury in the ring? My worst injury in the ring, I think worse is, once I broke my elbow, and I still can't touch this. This is broken and calcified, so I can't touch my shoulder. If you put any pressure on, let's just say it hurts. So that was a pretty good injury. And then I tore my quad in the ring, and I was wrestling Regal. We was in Hanover, and then we were in Bremen, and for Big Otto in 1992, and we were supposed to be in Dortmund for like a 2-week tour, and the big ass sponsor canceled out. So I went back with Regal and worked All-Star Wrestling for Brian Dixon. So we were wrestling in England. And I'm with all the English boys that I just know through reputation and just met them a couple days before and stuff. So I'm not doing all my squats and lunges and knee pull-ins to warm up. So like a geek, I'm walking to the ring with no warm up. So Regal's in the ring, just being Regal, whatever. He was a baby face, young Steven Regal, and I was the evil heel coming in. So when I get outside, there's some beer on the floor, so I half-ass slip, but I catch myself. But pop, I hear a gunshot. My fucking right quad was torn, and this is 1992. Now I'm going to stand up here. Oops, if I can stand. And here it is. Oh, shit, I can't even reach that far. Let me see. I put my leg up. Now watch my hand. Watch this. Woo. You can see it. It's a ball right here. It's still, I never got it fixed. So my torn quad from 1992 is still torn. But I didn't have to do bodybuilding anymore and show off a quad that was torn, so I didn't do that. I could have milked it like Triple H and be carried out and be a pussy and whatever like that. But no, what I do, Regal says, I think you ripped the quad. So I took my finger, pushed it all the way down to the bone. I said, hey, you're goddamn right. I tore my fucking quad. He says, well, fuck, what are we going to do? I said, I guess I'll do some carny song and dance, pantomime, show them how to work without wrestling. So we did that. Regal just fucking laughed, and we went 30 fucking minutes. My quad was torn in. It's still fucking torn. And when I croaked in my casket, you can come on if I have it. No, I ain't going to have a funeral. I'll be fucking cremated or whatever, or just fucking laid on the side of the road. You can come in and you can touch my right quad. It's like a little rolled up hard on, little mini golf ball or whatever. But that's how I got that. It's all Regal's fault because he encouraged. I'm telling you, he encouraged those the charlatans in England to throw beer on the floor, knowing I'd probably slip, knowing I'd probably tear my quad, and I wouldn't have those perfect quads anymore. I think he was just hot because I was so hot and muscular, and he was just still trying to find himself being 6'5" and over and handsome and getting all the women, could talk perfect English and the perfect English accent. And I talk 2 languages, Hill and Billy, or Hillbilly. But anyway, let's see what else we got up here that's coming on in. Gregory Malice says, the reason I still call everyone brother is because of Superfly. That's right. Let me see. Oh, now the thing's running back and forth. I got so many people on here. Let's see. Does Rip know Jamie Dundee? Of course I know Jamie Dundee. I know Jamie Dundee since he was a little bitty feller. Let's just say when Jamie was about 9 years old, I think he cussed as much as I did. And he was a little skinny fucker. And I don't think he was scared of anything. He was just perfect guy for television. And he was little and skinny, obnoxious motherfucker. He was fucking awesome. We could have had a cuss-a-thon, me and him, and I think it might have been a tie. And if we was on for an hour, I think we could do it another hour. But Jamie Dundee, great performer. You don't know when he's ribbing, when he's fucking shooting. But that was from The Real LJE. Okay. Let's see. Django Fett's up here. He's up here again. He's throwing me some hand signs and shit, lap signs and stuff. Frank Picklebear ass says, love you, Mr. Rip. Great storytelling. Heavy D says, happy Friday, hustler. Well, hell, I didn't work Thursday at Amazon, so it was a happy Wednesday too. So now now all of a sudden I got all this time off the fucking train. And then just because I happen to be 70 years old, just because I was hit and run and left for dead, I got 2 hips that ain't no good. My knees killing me. Got the neuropathy in my feet. The injury I had at goddamn Amazon for a year and a half It still ain't getting no better. And I got like a $2,500 doctor bill ain't fucking paid. First, I went on to the one doctor and he didn't do nothing for me. So I went within the umbrella, of course. Then I went outside the umbrella to some other guy and he didn't do shit either. And they both released me like I'm healthy. I'm good. Oh, I got perfect fucking leg and stuff. Yeah, my fucking calf's about that fucking big, you know, all kinds of shit rolling out of it. Almost, I feel like my fucking calf's pissing his pants all the time. There's so much fluid and shit coming out of it. But such is fucking life. Let me adjust my glasses, fix my Donald Trump hair, act like I'm over. Let's see what we're talking about on here. Okay, here says the Italian says, did Steven Regal get a lot of women? Let's just see her now. Right now, Chrissy, his wife, or his kids who are in NXT now. Let's see, it was Daniel and Dane, and then the other one come along when he's having the baby when I was gone. But they're in NXT, and I wouldn't want any stories about their father, you know, because when you're in the wrestling business and you know your dad was hot, he was young, he was jacked, you know that 8 million women are throwing themselves at you, and whether they're 6 to 60, blind, crippled, or crazy, it don't really matter. They just wanted to get a piece of the Lord. They just wanted to get a piece of Darren Kenneth Matthews, whatever character he was in. And I know Chrissy is that's his wife. She is technologically sound. So anything I could be saying on here that I could, if I would stooge Lord Steven off, he might get popped in the head with a rolling pin or something because of something my big mouth said, relaying the stores, as he was called, the shenanigans we would have. Like when we would go out, hey, it wasn't my fault we were in like Hanover, Germany for 10 straight weeks. It wasn't my fault. Like every time when the things were over, Finley would come, Tony St. Clair, Dave Taylor, we're all going out to the bars. Now, I don't drink, but they're pulling me out, and here I am. They got me where all these, I'm not going to say all the German women are fat, but let's just say they were pleasingly plump. And I liked a darker hue anyway. But anyway, we would go there and just talk, listen, and stories. And it seemed like not every night, but probably every other night, Fit would happen to get into an altercation. Like somebody would look at him the wrong way, or he could feel like they were staring a hole through him, even though they were looking at him from behind. And instead of saying, oh God, there's Fit Finley, the wrestling superstar, he's saying, and I'm thinking, as he was saying, he says, they're thinking I'm short. I said, oh, I don't think they are, Fit. I think you're like Wilt Chamberlain and Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He goes, what? Oh, no, you're like a tall NBA basketball player, but you're a legend, but you're a wrestler. And you're just properly stocky and jacked and well built. But he didn't trust me. So it seems like anybody wanted, you know, I said, you know, go shake hands with him. They didn't need to go try and shake hands with him. And then somebody would test him. He'd always have to grab a thumb. And then the cops would come in and they'd say, well, what are you messing with him for? You know, it's Finley. But it wasn't my fault that we had to go. It wasn't my fault that I didn't drink. I wasn't going to drink. I guess the German beer was a little bit stronger. Where Fit could drink, he could drink all night, every day. Next morning, be running, jumping, exercising, and stuff like that. Hell, I was still passed out in my caravan with Regal. We're sleeping late, but we know the gym's right there in town, and we don't have to be in the building until 7 o'clock that night. So we got all day to train, all today to get into trouble, all today to see what kind of plan the shenanigans we can have for that night. Check our book to see what girls were coming in, if they were coming in on which show. We had to check them off. So we would get plans for the evening, but I'm not saying Regal did that, because his wife Chrissy might be watching, and his sons who are at his next team, they might be listening, and they might say, oh my God, maybe my father's not I guess your father would still be your father. Yeah. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Let's just say when Regal was about 6'4", I think he was 6'4.5", because he was always, sometimes he'd say he was 6'4", and times he was saying he's 6'5", and he had the same goddamn shoes on. So he had 6'5", and then I think he was about 23, 24 years then, in the prime of life. So every woman there wanted him, and he had that seductive English accent, where I had the hillbilly accent. But I wasn't looking for any women anyway. I was looking for mature young males that had some money, or some young chicken boys that had a lot of money, because I would definitely take. Let's see, where was I at? In Germany, yeah, because we had to have the German money to spend it all. The good thing about Otto is he paid you every night. So if you was a drunk, you could go out and blow your money every night. Whereas, like if you'd work for Bill Watts, you'd have to wait 2 weeks to get a check, and other places were longer than that, and it was always messed up. But Otto, when you go into each night to get paid, he'd come in and he'd be coming in and he'd be going, "Lobby!" And I'm going, "What the fuck's lobby? Is that we're going to watch a movie and that's where we're going to fucking sit and get popcorn or whatever?" But lobby from Big Otto Vance, that meant come here and line up to get paid. So that's what that was. So that was always, the boys were always in a good mood when they were getting handed money. That's for one thing. Now, me, usually I borrowed some money from somebody else. I was trying to sneak out the back door, because maybe Tony St. Clair he loaned me some, and Dave Taylor loaned me some. Fit loaned me some, but he would say, "If you stiff me, I'll kill you." But he didn't really kill me. He would just hurt me a little bit. And whenever we got in the ring, he always had to show me, like I knew that he was a champion. I knew that he had been in the pro wrestling business, working as a fucking pro since he was like 14 years old. I realized he was in a wrestling family. I realized he was a badass, and he'd have to show me every time. So he always had, and here I am screaming in the ring, and he's laughing, and I'm getting hurt. And I gave it an official protest one night. I said, ladies and gentlemen, this man is hurting me. I do not like it. I'm tired of getting hurt. But anyway, I threatened to leave right there, grabbed the microphone, which I wasn't supposed to do. And I talked in Hill and Billy. So not many people understood it anyway. But I want to get in the ring with him because he was going to kill me. But then after that, all of a sudden, whenever I worked with him, all of a sudden he was Fit the Bumpmeister. All of a sudden I was great. All of a sudden I was, and I was doing the poof gimmick there. Mm-hmm. The first night I come in, I was working heel, and Peter William, who ran Austria, come in. And he says, let's see, we was in Graz, Austria, Arnold Schwarzenegger's hometown. Can you imagine? Here I am looking above average in Graz, Austria, the home of the great Arnold Schwarzenegger. So when I was there, I did the Arnold posing routine in an effeminate way. And everybody loved that. And Peter William, he said, from now, because I come in, I was supposed to be a heel because I'd been a heel for how many years? Now, this is 1992, so I'd been a heel for like about 13, 14 years. Now, all of a sudden, he wants me to be an effeminate babyface. So I did it as a rib, was over the top on everything. And then all of a sudden, he said, you do that every night the rest of the tour. God, here I am, a heel, working babyface, but I'm a poof. A poof is let's just say it's an effeminate character. But anyway, I get carried away on all this shit. Let's see. Oh, Shane Parks just donated $10. Says, any memories of working Adrian Street? And what territory did your feud take place? And did Miss Linda get involved? And what was the final outcome of the feud? That was in Continental for the great Ron Fuller. Except for my 2 squash matches on TV to get over, I wrestled Adrian every show I was there for 6 months. I had the greatest time of any program, and Fuller didn't really tell us what to do. Fuller said, make me out a big program. So I did all that with stuff we could do off TV and then stuff we would do in the house show. Now, what he would do, since he was the master and he know what people had seen in that area, but the only place I worked with Adrian Street was Continental for Ron Fuller in 1986, 87, somewhere in there. But Adrian was great to work with. We did every angle you could think of you've ever seen, what you missed, what's never even thought about. Was the girls involved? Hell yes, they was involved. Did I imitate the world's greatest poof, the world's greatest hetero, homo, whatever you call it, effeminate character, Adrian Street? Did I imitate him? Yes. Did he always get the best of me? Pretty much. But then again, I would always do something dastardly, and Brenda would do something to Linda. I'd do something to Linda. I'd get Adrian. We had heard him, and we'd cackle our way back to the dressing rooms. But my feud with Adrian Street was 26 weeks long, and when I got done with that, I left Continental. I told Fuller, he goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, hell, I'm gonna get out of here." He goes, "What?" I said, "Man, the feud I had with Adrian Street was the best one I'd ever had. Physically, emotionally, mentally. That's it. Call me on the phone here. Oh, it's just somebody I owe money to. What the hell, right?" So I had such a great time there. And I knew I couldn't follow it. And I'd be like, not disappointed, but I wouldn't be as enthusiastic as I was going to the ring to work with Adrian and Linda every night. So when the memories of all this, if the loser was going to get their hair sprayed pink, all of a sudden it would be Brenda. When somebody cut off her hair or I lost my hair match and she tried to interfere, guess who got her hair all cut off? It was her. So I would always lose, but she would always get the stuff done to her. But the history, looking back, the greatest time of my life, working in the ring, no egos involved. I remember first night in, Adrian just sat there and told me the story of his whole life, how he was wrestling, didn't want to be a coal miner, and he started wrestling, how his dad didn't like it. He told me his history, and I'm going, God damn, here I am, an old guy in the ring, but I'm a fan because I love this shit so much. And I'm just being a little kid because Adrian was older than me, and I'm just listening to all these names he's talking about and the stuff he had to go through because he was about a legit 5'6". Then he would wear the goddamn gimmick heels, and now he's up to 5'8.5". So he was always the smallest guy, so he had to be super duper tough. And he was. And he wouldn't take no shit from anybody except Linda. Because Linda, she beat the shit out of him. Just punch him in the face, and he wouldn't sell it. His nose would be over here and stuff. But he was a tough guy. She was a tough old woman. Had some of the greatest times wrestling there. But now I told Fuller, nope, I'm just going to go somewhere else because this is the greatest program I've ever had in my life. I know I'm not going to fucking follow it. And I'd been in Southeastern one time for 11 months. And this time I just stayed 6 months. And so I worked for the last match I had I did a TV match for Ron Fuller. So of course he did me in, and he took the spray from Brenda, but it didn't matter with him because he was the boss. So the spray didn't hurt Ron Fuller's eye. He just went, look.
It's a shame we got matches of you and Adrian Street on our channel.
Do what?
We got matches of you and Adrian Street on our channel.
Yeah, you should be watching our. Can you just Google that or something like that?
It's on our channel. You just go to our channel and look at, Rip Rogers versus Adrian Street. They're on our channel. Go to matches.
Yeah, go to matches. Rip Rogers versus Adrian Street, and they might get one of 26 of them
They're on our channel. We got 2 matches of Rip and Adrian Street on our channel. You just go to our playlist of Rip's matches, and they're right in there.
Okay, it says Heavy D's here. Heavy D's, first we'll talk about him. It says, got any bad news Allen stories? Bad news Allen, when I was in the Maritime, well, I was in Calgary with him, and nobody messed with Bad News Allen. And well, Andre started to, but he was sort of scared of bad news, so he decided not to mess with him. And in 1997, I was on my 4th tour in the Maritimes, and Bad News rode with me every fucking day. So he'd sit there and just, I'm driving every mile, so he's just getting me laughing, telling stories, telling me about ribs when he was in the Olympics and everything, and the ribs they did, how the stuff he did from Harlem. I don't know if he's from Harlem. I think he was right from outside, but I think he sort of skirted a couple blocks and whatever. But I love, everybody was scared of Bad News. And I remember that when I was in Calgary, we were in Calgary together, and I met him there. And he'd just come in from Japan. So I just come strutting in the bus. So I'm going to go back to the, you want to get in the back to the bus so you can talk more shit. So you can say more cuss words and tell more stories about the women you had through the week. You're planning on what the menu was for stuff like that. So I'm going down there. So I plopped my big ass down, put my bag down. Everybody's happy. Johnny Smith said, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean? I always sit here." He said, "Well, Bad News is back today. That's his seat." I said, "What? That's Bad News' seat?" Yeah. So that in Calgary was Bad News Allen. He was Bad News Brown in WWF. So I said, here he comes down the fucking thing. And he's got the world's greatest, I hate you, I'm going to kill you look. And then he breaks into a fucking smile. And I said, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was your seat. He goes, "It's okay today." But I said, "No, you take it now." And then I sat up at the front. I think it was with Ross Hart. So I had to listen to straight stories that weren't really funny, but what the hell, right? But I met Bad News there, had some great times. Hey, look at Django Fett just come in. He just got the $5, the super sticker. I put all my faith in Django Fett. He comes through the $5 one. Django's right on the money. Man.
Let's talk about Kevin Sullivan today.
No,
a lot of people have been asking about
okay,
Kevin Sullivan.
okay. Okay, Kevin Sullivan. Now, here's the gimmick. Here's the gimmick thing. I've known Kevin for years and years and years, and I've told this story before. How he motivated me and Randy to get in these physique contests because we saw him on Jarrett's tape, and I've known Kevin for years. Always respected him. He was always an office guy. I said, "You're the smallest guy that does absolutely nothing. You work like you're 6'8" and 300 pounds." He goes, "That's because I'm the boss." I said, "Okay, you answered that thing." But no, Kevin was a pro. He started in Boston. He was always figured in. If you ever had a problem in your matches, he could always help you out because he had that much experience. And he did the valet gimmick earlier in his career. He understood that gimmick. He understood, and he was a baby face. He was a good old white meat baby face when he started out in the old WWF for years. So he could work baby face, he could work heel, or he could give you his demon thing that he gave you in Tampa in the 80s. But he was a top pro, and I barely ever heard him raise his voice. Never had to. He commanded so much respect. But that's like when me and Randy saw him on TV and he was just jacked to the gills. And then the very first contest I was in, and Randy, we went to the Volunteer Classic in Knoxville, and Kevin was on that one. And we was in like the regular open contest, and they had the novice where you hadn't won any. So Randy beat me with both of them. Of course, I said that didn't count because you was on the gas and I wasn't. And then, but Kevin was there, and he was like the hometown boy. He was living in Knoxville, so he got the super applause, and he did real good that night. He looked great, but he motivated us by watching him on tape that we had enough guts to get in there. So I ended in like 12 contests in 18 months, which is goddamn physically impossible. Fuck. 1, 2, I became a nut of just training and training and training. So I could say getting in physique contest was because of me seeing Kevin Sullivan. Training like a nut was because of me seeing the shape he was in, and I was just chasing him. And Randy tried it, but like I said, no matter what you do, Randy, it don't count. So because you're on the gas, so he got mad and he quit. He took his ball and went home. Let's see. Shane Parks. Any members of working with Bugsy McGraw? Real crazy. Looked really mean. He worked at a hospital. Any truth to that? Oh, yeah. First of all, a couple months ago, I was at one of the fan fests, and Bugsy, we sat the same table, so we're telling stories the whole night. And when I worked with Bugsy McGraw, I first started it was in Tampa in '85, and he was a really big guy, right now he's still a nurse or whatever in the nurse profession. But he was a huge guy, and he'd been in Tampa a long time. So when I started working with Bugsy McGraw, and then I got Brenda involved, and then Brenda had gotten this girl that used to work, and we named her Lady Maxine, and she was like 6'5" in heels, and she had the mohawk. So the whole thing it was me and Bugsy. We were fresh, and then we had Lady Maxine with Bugsy. She was Bugsy McGraw's valet. Now she's 6'5", so she steps over the top rope. And I'm going, oh my God. So it was definitely a great show of watching me and Bugsy McGraw going at it. And on the outside, we got Lady Maxine going after Brenda, almost getting her. Finally, she'd get her. And then it was just a hell of a show. But working with Bugsy McGraw, it was great for him because he had been there a long time in Tampa in the same towns. And no matter how good you are, you get a little bit stale. So me coming out him was fresh air, was a whole fresh new thing. And then with me having the valet, that was something else. And then when he brought in his valet, Lady Maxine, and she stepped over that top rope the first time, we're going, oh my God, we're pointing at how tall she is and stuff like, and we just take off running this and that. Then it was a whole new ball game, and me and Bugsy got a whole lot of more mileage out of that. But it was great to work Bugsy McGraw. He was an icon in the Tampa, Florida area. Lady Maxine, who dropped out, she quit Moolah's for some reason. I have no idea. But Brenda found her she found her in Rick Poston's gym in Tampa, Florida, the former Mr. America. That's where I found Lex Luger, and where he asked me how to get into wrestling business. Yeah, I'm going on and off and here and that, but what the fuck? That's where Luger said, how do I get into wrestling business? I said, you go to 106 North Albany. You go down to see Hiro Matsuda. And I looked at him, and he was telling me how he went to Penn State, somewhere else, and he'd played pro football and the U.S. He just got cut by the USFL. That's just like Ron Simmons did too, because Ron was a positionless player too, because he was a nose tackle in college, and he didn't play that to pros. He had to play a different position. So we're going from Bugsy McGraw to Lady Maxine, slipping over to Ron Simmons, back to Bugsy McGraw, throwing in the 6'5" Lady Maxine, Brenda finding her right back in from Rick Poston's gym, the Mr. America from Tampa, and the shit goes on and on. The stories go on and on. I won't shut up. So let me see what else is on here. It says, wow, let me see. Let's see. Gregory Mallow says, when was your last WCW match? Oh, my last WCW match was when, let's see, it was in Orlando, and I'd worked for them for years and years. And for Ole Anderson, I ran developmental towns for Ole. So that means I go to in Indiana. and some Kentucky towns. So Ole would give me like 5 days, and I'd run shows like Delphi, Indiana, like Shelbyville, Indiana, like Rushville, Indiana, like Martinsville, Indiana, like Seymour, Indiana, like Austin, Indiana, like Scottsburg, Indiana. And they would have, it was unbelievable. It would be off the superstation. And if we had a local market in that area, we'd be plugging that too. But then you're seeing Steve Austin and Brian Pilmer. They were the Hollywood Blondes then. They were seeing all the guys you saw on TBS. And here they were in Delphi, Indiana. Here's was more superstars that we're watching on Superstation TBS. Here they are in Shelbyville, Indiana. Here they are in Rushville, Indiana. Here they are in Martinsville, Indiana. Here they are in Seymour, Indiana. Well, how in the hell did all these superstars go into these smaller towns? Because we was drawing big, and we was showing a bigger profit margin than the big shows. But then Eric Bischoff, he took over and got rid of all of them. Because his big quote was, "I'd rather go into the Astrodome and lose $100,000 than let people know our superstars in a small town." I said, "Well, I just looked at the bottom line, and I knew you made more. The company turned more of a profit in the small towns than the big towns, because half the time they was losing money in there." So I'm off on a roll here, talking about all this shit. And then I think the original question from Gregory Mallow was, when is my last WCW match? It was in like 94 in Orlando. So 94 in Orlando. What happened? You'd have like you do like 5 TV tapings. So I was going down to the fucking cafeteria and sitting with the boys. And I was doing a homosexual character just for the fucking hell of it. So some girl complained that I was talking bad. So so one of the big wigs, one of the shirts from they told me they could send me home. So okay, send me home. Let's see, I worked for Ole for how many years? I worked Bill Watts for how many years? Put guys over, no fucking ego. Was ever fucking asked of me if they wanted me. One time they said, I had to drive. Let's see, was it 806 mile? Ole called me and says, "Can you make something on the East Coast?" It was like 800 fucking miles from where I was at. I said, "Sure, I'll be there tomorrow." And that was it. That's the bond I fucking had with Ole Anderson. So a lot of times he would just let me do whatever the hell I wanted to do. And if I didn't work, and then he would say, "Hey, we're going to be tour up in your area." He says, "Can you work with the Junkyard Dog?" I said, "Hell yeah." He says, "Well, you got 2 weeks with him." I said, "Well, hell yeah, I'll have a good time." And Dog was slower then. He wasn't a dog anymore. But I said, "Well, we'll make it a good fucking show, and we'll fucking do it." So working for Ole Anderson, I loved Ole Anderson. I loved working for him. I loved Bill Watts. I loved working for him. Were they assholes? No. The wrestlers were the fucking assholes, and they were the disciplinarian. They were the teacher that had to put you over your knees and spank you and put you in the corner because we were the ones that were screwed up. They weren't drunks. They weren't smoking pot. They weren't doing cocaine. They weren't doing, let me see. I'll plead the fifth on this about messing with women or something like that, because it's all speculation. Anyway, and then I can get stuff messed up because I've been on here talking a long, long time. And I get, I'm 70, can't remember shit half the time. I remember I got my Ox Baker shirt on. Lilas is busy doing stuff last night. So I'm trying to handle this show all by myself with no notes, just talking shit, seeing who's here. It's like the next question. Well, let me see the next question. There's Lilas. He's from the shitter yelling at me. He says, Frank Pickleberry, I said, "Did you see DDP confront Scott Steiner at WCW?" No. But then again, I heard stories about me and Scott Steiner that he slapped me. Did he? I don't remember it. If he did, I'd been fucking knocked silly anyway. But I wouldn't have been complaining about a fucking match we had at him. Hell no. He was pleasant to work with. He never hurt nobody in the ring. At least he didn't hurt me. He's probably afraid he's going to kill me. His goddamn bicep was bigger than my whole body. Let me see.
Anybody else in Portland?
Let me see. Besides Buddy Rose and Roddy Piper, who did you wrestle in the Portland territory? Well, let me skip back to 1979 and 1980. Of course, I wrestled Dutch Savage. He was like the boss there. And I wrestled Roddy and I wrestled Buddy. And the great Rick Martel was there. I worked against him. The Bushwhackers were there, Butch and Luke. And I lost to Loser Leave Town. It was me and Buddy and Ed Wiskowski against the Bushwhackers, who were babyface, and Roddy Piper. And that's why I beat Roddy the week before. So here we are in the big the loser of the fall leaves town. Ed Wiskowski had been out for a long time because he had surgery on one of his nuts. I don't know whether it was his left nut or his right nut, but he was back with the Army was back. It was now Rip Rogers, Buddy Rose, and Ed Wiskowski. The Army was united. And here was the Bushwhackers. They had turned baby faces. At one time, they would have 3 dressing rooms: the heels dressing room, the baby fest, and then the Bushwhackers were separate because they were against me and Buddy Rose in the towns, but they was heels everywhere else. So it was funnier than shit. So let's see. Frank's Pickle Barrel said this is the best podcast. No, it's the best podcast on at this particular moment right now. Django Fett got some smileys in. Ha, 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 ha. Back to the Portland area. Then I had some great matches with Johnny Mantell. Yeah, he was a good worker. And the good thing about working Portland was you had Don Owen there, but you had Elton there. And Elton was the guy that everybody would rib. I remember, I worked with Ron the Star and Adrian Adonis, and Adonis was a bully. I always worked with Ron Starr, like working with him. But Adrian would take a goddamn cigar, one of Elton's cigars, stick it up his ass, and then put it on his desk, and Elton would light that cigar. Oh, somebody left me a cigar, a gift. And then he'd had it up fucking Adrian Street, or Adrian Adonis had it up his fucking ass and everything. But Adrian was sort of a bully. Well, what it was, he was a tough guy, and I wasn't. I was a showman, and he was a tough guy. But Piper lectured him and said, just do what Rip says, and then we'll just fucking get it better afterwards. No reason to get upset. No reason to push him around. He ain't hurt nobody. So Adrian was a bully, but after Roddy talked to him, and everybody respected and loved Roddy, and everything was taken care of after that. Anyway, let's see. Django Fett, he's talking about, money for the fanny pack, the total package, baby. George Jetson is in here. He says, a follow-up question to the Nun airplane story. What happened to the juice? That would be a long flight with I didn't understand that. I think he was talking about my flight when I was going to Puerto Rico, and there was the nun sitting next to me, and it got dark. So and then there was a blanket there. So I just pulled the blanket, and I just sort of put her hand underneath my blanket, and all of a sudden, all of her fantasies, I think, she just come out, and then she had the little midget hand with it, and all of a sudden my organ just felt fucking huge right there. And I remember, but it was a good time by me, and I guess she had a good time because she was just going, and I was just sitting there enjoying the hand gimmick of the gimmick hand. But that's what happened in the Nun airplane story. Frank's Picklebarrel asked, he's throwing off. He said, "This is the greatest ever." Gregory Malice says, "All my favorite activities." Italian says, "Any Big John Studd stories?" I just remember Big John Studd when I went and did some jobs for enhancement, for the old WWF. He was working there, and he was always calling everybody little man. But then again, Brittany Griner calls guys and girls little man, and then she's got a deep voice. And then I saw her without a shirt on. She looked like she was a guy. So, but anyway, I don't know how Brittany Griner got in here. But Big John Studd stories, just that Andre didn't like him because he'd step over the top rope too. And John Studd, he was a big guy, but Andre, I think he looked at it. That was Andre's job to step over the top, and he was the only real giant. Said, Rick, did you ever work with a Night Stalker? I can't remember who the Night Stalker is. Adrian Adonis from Kenmore, wherever he was. I knew Adrian was from upstate New York somewhere. I didn't know it was actually Kenmore, New York. Let me see. John Goat says, Rip took a handy from a nun. As soon as I thought I heard it, leave it to Rip to top it all. So I guess this is most of the guys that we was talking about today. Did me and Adrian Italian says, did you and Adrian Street take your program to another company? No, Adrian was staying there because he had his fourplex. He had like a big old thing. It was 4 condominiums, and he rented those out, and he was like a staple there. And Linda did a lot of the make the boys costumes and stuff. And Adrian had a long run there. And so he lived there for a long time until he sold everything and went back to him and Linda went back to England. So, he just passed away. I guess it was about a year ago. I lose track of time and everything. But I just remember it was the greatest program I ever had in the wrestling business. The most fun, no stress. Nobody was mad throwing stuff. Everybody was smiling. Everybody was laughing. I was always giving him the office or the Iggy, and he was just always trying to stick a finger up my ass when I was fucking selling to get me to break character, whatever like that. But that's the shenanigans you see in professional wrestling when guys, there was no reason to hit each other hard. It's and the matches, it was phony when I win, phony when I lose. And I can say, Adrian, let's see if we can get in, get out, not get hurt, and not even touch each other. Make it just give it the good workers are the guys that not hit you hard. They hit you. It looks like it fucking kill you in the soft tissue area, and they don't touch you. That's because they are so good. But most wrestlers today, they can't even throw a punch, or they'll hit you hard. Yeah, I'm going to hit you in the shoulder. I'm going to hit you in the top of the head. Which you hit somebody in the top of the head, you break your goddamn fucking hand, which I did when I hit a mark one time like a fucking idiot. So most of the mistakes in the wrestling business, here I'm 70 years old, had thousands and thousands of matches all over the world in almost every territory in the States and Canada, England, Austria, Germany, South Africa, Japan, Korea. All the stories everywhere, all the guys you meet, it's basically a good time. Every day is a fucking holiday. Eat good, train hard, try and laugh as much as you can, because someday you're going to be like me. Wake up and all of a sudden you're 70 years old. So it says Brittany Griner is a dude on here. Well, I thought he was a dude, but he's a guy, but he's married. No, he's a girl, but he's sort of a guy, but he's married to a woman that's pregnant. So I don't know if he was shooting blanks or he got that from somebody else. And I don't know the story. And if it's on the internet, it's true. So anything you look at on the internet, just like the newspapers in America, you can probably be assured that none of it's true. Let's see. Hey, Rip, could you share any fun memories of watching Bobby Davis? I just saw watching Bobby Davis years ago. He was in Ohio mostly, because I would get the Sheik's TV. The Sheik's TV, and they would show some old stuff on there. And he was bigger than most of the guys, and he was a sort of a flamboyant manager when there weren't that many managers around. He wasn't no Bobby Heenan or Jim Cornette or anything. Before at the time, he was great, and he drew a lot of money, and the people hated him. So he was a big ass star in the Ohio area. So, and in the Sheiks, when I was growing up, he had all those TVs there, and I could adjust the antenna, and I could get that Cincinnati station, which would be all the Sheiks markets, which would include the Columbus, Ohio, which would include all the major markets of of West Virginia, of Ohio, and let's see what's straight up above us, Michigan. Yeah, Sheik was basically Michigan and Ohio and West Virginia. That's where he was a legend. And then, of course, I did job. I worked TV for Sheik. I was rotten, and he was he was kayfabe me like he didn't speak no goddamn English. Just like Baba kayfabe me when I was in Japan. And the first time I had to talk with Joe Higuchi, and he would talk just Japanese. And then as soon as I shut the door, he started talking English to Joe Higuchi. So I knocked on the door, stuck my head in there, and I said, Baba, I said, big man, remember kayfabe. But he goes, shh. What a fucking rib. In the world of professional wrestling, the world's greatest sport, making money, traveling around, doing shit you can't, doing shit you can't believe. Let's see. Well, I got some more shit. Let me see if anyone come here. Boom, boom, boom. I did talk about Bobby Davis. Old school wrestling will be the best forever. Well, here's the thing about today's wrestling. If you do,
Hey, while you're talking about today's wrestling, put a big plug in for how awesome the Outrunners.
Oh shit, you're right.
On tonight on Rampage.
Oh, on tonight. Ouch.
Rampage.
Oh, my fucking cauliflower here. Rampage tonight.
Match against FTR last weekend.
Hey, the Outrunners are on. I'll do it hillbilly style. Far. The Outrunners are the great. Well, I promised I was going to start talking only great things about AEW because Nick Wayne's a star. Buddy Wayne's wife, Mrs. Wayne, Nick Wayne's mom, she's a star. I got the Outrunners, Turbo and Floyd. They are stars. They are the superstars. They spin to win. They went out there and do nothing but have a good time. They steal the show. Anything they're making, it ain't enough. Tony, let's throw more money towards the goddamn Outrunners. We've seen it. No, I can't say we've seen this guy for how many years and this and that, whatever. So anyway, Outrunners. Turbo and Floyd. Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne's mom. Nick Wayne's mom, 6'2". Nick Wayne, let's see, I think he's about 6'1.5". Looks like he's skinny as a rail. He eats all day because he just turned 19. Hell, he just burns it up. So he'll be skinny in the rail till he's 25. Then when he gets 30, he'll be 250 all of a sudden, and hardly eating. And all of a sudden he'll be 270 because he's got the midget. But that's Buddy Wayne, his dad. He's got the midget workout habit. And you know, Nick Wayne, he was in the ring when he was 6 years old. Hell, I got pictures in my phone. There's Nick Wayne. There's Jimbo Uno. There's Eric. There's Shiloh. There's all the guys. Jimbo Uno. I said that. The guys that Buddy Wayne was training. So anytime you see Nick Wayne, I'm thinking of Buddy Wayne. Anytime I see Shayna Wayne. And she was looking at my Instagram stuff today. Just sneaking some peeks. Just let me know she's out there. I'm corresponding with Nikki, throwing him some advice, which you can either take or stick it, or I can stick it up my ass, whatever. Just trying to fucking help you. You remember you're a young boy in a man's world, and you're really good. So guys are gonna get on you, say shit behind your back. Try and cut your throat because of the jealousy factor. Oh, excuse you for being good. Excuse you for getting a break. You got a break because you was goddamn good. Your mother got a break because she's 6'2" and she's your mother and she's Buddy Wayne's wife. So what the hell, right? Let me see back here. Put Nick Wayne's mom over the whatever. That was from Mighty Joe Young. And how was working for Baba? Okay, working for Baba, I did 2 tours there. And of course, I got on the first tour because I was signed there by the great Akiya Sato, and I worked. And that's when the very first night, me and Danny Spivey were partners, and we was within there with Hara and Tenru. And on TV, let's just say they beat the shit out of you. And here's tough guy Danny Spivey, huge 6'7" street fighter. They beat the shit out of us. But this was his first match ever for Baba and All Japan Pro Wrestling. So he was scared to fucking beat the shit out of them back. So then after that, they said it was okay to beat the shit out of them, and TV that they worked real stiff. But the next night, that's when I come and I started doing the Okama boy. So I started doing the homosexual, metrosexual, whatever it was. All of a sudden I was, ooh, 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 ooh. So I was just copying Adrian Street because I knew if I did that, them killer Japanese wrestlers, they were going to kill me. They'd be sort of scared of it because I'd be really trying to kiss them and shit. I'd be goosing their fucking butt, going from the worm and everything. And they was running from me. They didn't know what the hell to do. And Joe Higuchi said, Ripson, you keep doing that every night, you'd be over. and so when they wanted me to come back for the next tour, that's when I had Baba's last single match he ever had in his life. Of all the stars he had over the years, he picked me. He had confidence in me because Baba was an older guy. And then before then, now he still worked tag matches and 6-man tags, or even hide him in an 8-man tag. But the last single match he ever had, it was I was honored to be put in the ring with him. And he did give me a $2,000 bonus just for the night too. So that was great. But working for Baba was great. But after the first tour there, the second time for me, it was so long, and I'm not into tourism. And all I do was go to the town, go to your room and train. That was what I did no matter where I was at. So as you get older and you get hit by a car and left for dead, or you work with Von Lilas and he hurt you so bad you can't wrestle anymore. He ended my career. Von Lilas ended my career. He hit me so hard with those chops. I was discombobulated, dislocated. My old cranial process, my medulla oblongata. He knocked me half silly. He knocked me so silly I can't even remember shit anymore. Well, I think that was that, and sort of being 70 years old too. But anyway, Shane Parks asked me, any Rufus R. Jones stories? I worked a lot with Rufus in Kansas City, and he homesteaded there, which means he was pretty much wrestled there all the time. A lot he'd go out to North Carolina for a while, but he'd always come back. And the Bulldog Bob Brown, he homesteaded too. So when you have two homesteaders in the area, they hate each other like. So Bulldog Brown I said, I'm working with, you work with Rufus, been here too long, needs to leave. I said, well, goddamn, Bob, he ain't been here as long as you run. He goes, yes, but I'm a heel. But anyway, so I would always pit Rufus and Bulldog against each other, which was just funnier than shit. But I love working with Rufus. I love working with the fucking Bulldog because he was funny without trying to be funny. So anyway, you got stories you can talk about all day. Here I've jumped on with Lilas being busy doing all that stuff. I've been on here over an hour. I've been on here over an hour talking shit, telling stories, no notes. Every once in a while,
notes.
Huh?
Why would you need notes? We've never had notes.
I put it
over. You don't have notes today. We never fucking use notes.
Do you have notes on here usually?
No.
Like this?
No.
And got stuff written down like that
for this show. That's
I'll put some stuff that everyone. But anyway, here I was thrown to do this. I put all this pressure on me to do it. I make it through the hour. I almost have a heart attack. Oh my God! You're hiding from the camera because you had that.
Because you wouldn't scoot over. I came in here to join you.
Oh well, come over here and join me then.
You hugging the microphone wouldn't even let me in.
I didn't know. I know it's Lila's studio.
I've been trying to get in this thing, and you just sit there fucking hugging the microphone.
Well, I got all how I get excited. Yeah. But anyway, we made it through today. This is the record for me talking today. I talked into the microphone some. Of course, he's cemented this down. I think he pushed my head down so many times.
Hey, screw you, George Jetson.
What George say?
We don't need Vaughn at all. All right.
Oh shit!
keep letting it go this morning.
No. I'll have to really prepare for this stuff. And you know me, I can't remember stuff. So what do? I'll tell you the same goddamn stories again when you ask me the same question and nobody even know it. And I won't remember it.
They'll know it all right.
But I don't remember it. Let's see. George Jetson threw in the big ha. Django Fett.
Now that I'm here, he's putting ha now.
Oh, yeah.
Showed up.
Is opinion statement Haver still here? Rip nailed it like the pro.
Yeah,
He's
they're
holy
They're all
shit.
gonna kiss your ass. All right, we know that.
Oh, well, hell, this is the greatest show I did today. I didn't take one drink of pop. I brought in some food.
Hey.
I didn't open none of them up.
Thanks a lot, Shane Parks. Look, said it's not the same without me. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Well,
Appreciate it.
you got to have like the Falstaff baseball game. You got to have Dizzy Dean and Pee Wee Reese. You can't just have Dizzy Dean or Pee Wee. I guess that is sort of dating myself since
Hey, I try not to talk too much. I just like to keep Rip on track a little bit and actually answer some of the questions in the chat.
Well, you know, I get confused all the time. What
All
did
that
Michael
kind of
Costello? What did he say?
Well, look at that. I don't know how it works, but Michael Costello's in here again today,
Holy shit!
passing out memberships.
Did he rob a bank? Could I rob one with you? Jesus Christ. Michael Moneybags Costello.
I don't know if we have to stay on here for people to get those or how that works, but
Yeah, I have no idea. Well, I have no idea of anything, so what the hell, right?
thanks a lot, Michael Costello. I'm good, man. Just doing a little recovery. All right, are we done, Rip? Are you done?
Yeah, I was just wrapping it up because I couldn't see exactly till I adjusted my glasses of what time it was. I wanted to make sure I got that hour in. So
Hold on, I gotta answer a question real quick.
Okay.
OVW title I won from I think the first time was Aaron Stevens, Damian Sandow, Aaron the Idol Stevens. Second time was APOC at OVW, which was Victor from the Ascension when they were in NXT and WWE.
So was you
and then I
too?
got my face all messed up, and Victor won it back from me, and I didn't wrestle much after that. George Jetson in green now, baby. All right. Thank you, Michael Costello, for hooking everybody up.
Are we still on or are we off?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay. Well, now we're going off. Okay. See my Donald Trump hair was bald. Yeah, sort of. A little bit. I'm in green. George Jetson. George is in green. Okay. Michael Costello, he's in green. George Jetson.
All right, we're out of here. Thanks for joining today.
This is the greatest show we've had today.
Have a great weekend.